Hello, Lobo fans. Welcome into your Lobo Coaches Show. I'm your host, Robert Portnoy. We are presented by Green Summit Landscape Management, and we're talking Lobo football with you with our brand new head football coach, Jason Eck. Coach Eck, it's great to be with you. Thanks for coming on set. First off, how are things going for you?
Going very well. Anxious to get into a game here. I got hired, I think, the 15th of December, and it's been a while since I've got to coach a game, so excited to get back into it and get out on the field this Saturday.
Pumped to coach a game. It's number 14 Michigan at the Big House. We'll get to that later on in the show. But, Coach, you just finished up the grind, training camp. That's where it all starts. How'd it go?
It went well. We really had to do a great job of bringing in some new players. We had a lot of guys who were in for spring practice, but we added about 26 freshmen, about 10 new transfers who came at the semester. So it really was a process of kind of bringing everybody together and defining the roles for the season, but happy with where we're at here.
75 new players in total. You knew it was going to be a rebuild. It's really starting from scratch. And how has it gone? Getting settled in, going back to December. Now here we are, end of August, and the opener is upon us.
I really think just it makes an emphasis on building a team. Every year, it's not as much program building where you're going to have guys with you for 4 or 5 years. But it's an advantage, too, when you're trying to turn around a program. You can look at some areas where maybe we weren't great on film last year. It's easy to get those areas better when you have a lot of new players to fill in. But, very happy. I think the effort of the team has been very good. I think our focus, I think we've made a lot of progress just with the goals we have.
One of the things that Lobo fans certainly want to see progress in is defense. It's not been good for New Mexico on that side of the ball the last couple of years. But, Coach, you feel like up front and in that second level, you guys are going to be really strong this year?
I think we're going to be a lot better defensively. Coach Nowinski's really done a good job. He's a seasoned defensive coordinator, a lot of great experience at the Group of 5 level, putting together a good defense. We're a little smaller than you'd probably ideally like to be on the defensive line, but we're going to do a great job of playing to those guys' strengths. We got to try to really do a great job of stopping the run as a starting point, get to those third down packages where we can get subs in the game and put people in obvious passing situations. But we have great experience at linebacker. I think the end is going to be a strength. Having Keyshawn James Newby back has certainly been a boost for us this fall camp. And our secondary is going to be improved from last year. I know that's been a deficiency too, giving up a lot of yards through the air, but I think we'll be a lot better in the back end, staying on top of routes and avoiding those big plays.
Coach mentioned Keyshawn James Newby, one of the edge rushers for the Lobos, and you combined him with Xavier Slayton. New Mexico really hasn't had a true disruptor, somebody that can get in the backfield and wreak havoc. Maybe somebody like that on the roster this year.
No, we need that. And, Keyshawn showed up big last year in the money game that he got to be a part of. Had 2 sacks in the Oregon game, and we'll need that. We'll need to get a little pressure on this young quarterback they have, who's very talented, and certainly our sack numbers are something we're looking to grow. We got to get more pressure on the quarterback than New Mexico was able to do last year, and that will, I think, really help our team overall if we can improve that area.
Coach referencing the Idaho versus Oregon game from last year, and Keyshawn James Newby was one of the stars of his team last year at Idaho. Another one is your son, Jason Eck, and he's right in the middle of that defense at the second level, Coach, playing linebacker. I know he's coming back from injury, but how about his fall camp?
He's had an excellent fall camp. He really has come back, full health, and I think that getting that surgery done has helped him moving him around. He's not in pain anymore, and he's really done a good job of communicating. He's taken advantage. We didn't have an FCS last year, that green dot communication where the coordinator can talk directly to him, with calling plays in and things. And I think that's been just a boon with our communication. I think he's done a really good job of getting the back end and the D line tied in together, and that'll be critical. We got to get everybody on the same page and playing together.
Speaking of bringing players with him from Idaho, his 4th year in this offensive system, the QB1 for the Lobos is Jack Lane, and I know a broken collarbone. He missed some time last year, but boy, the 6 full games that he played, and I know he opened the year playing the Oregon game. He was terrific, wasn't he, Coach?
Yeah, Jack had a great year for us last year, and excited to get him healthy. He missed some practices in the spring, which really probably let James Lobstein get into the race, having all those reps in the spring, and he really did a good job throughout camp too and made it a close competition. But in the end, we just felt Jack was a little bit more consistent, a little bit more effective, and gave us our best chance to win games. So it's definitely an advantage having a quarterback going into Michigan, a tough place to play. He's played in front of crowds like at Oregon, which is a really loud environment, and I think he'll do a great job.
You want some game breakers, some players that can really make plays for you. And The Mountain West recognized 2 Lobos preseason as just that, a running back, Scott Trey Humphrey, and a DB/kick returner, Abraham Williams. Scotty and Abe, they're going to be huge for you, aren't they?
No, Scott Trey has really been as advertised. He had a great spring. He's had a great fall camp. We've tried to, we got to keep him healthy, so we were careful not to run him too much in the scrimmages and save his getting tackled for the season. But he's been outstanding. I think he's really improved with his pass protection. I think he'll be a household name amongst Lobo fans if he's not already. And then Abe Williams, he's our best corner. He adds a lot to the return game. I'm expecting us to make a big jump in special teams. I think Coach DePrado's really done a great job with that unit. And that needs to be an X factor in us getting this program turned around, is creating some scores on special teams.
One of the key returners for the Lobos is place kicker Luke Drizwicki. It's not common that you have a guy that's been a starter for a couple of years that you inherit like that.
Yeah, very fortunate to have Luke. He did a great job in the spring, earned a scholarship. We've had to bring in some new specialists this fall camp, but he's held off the challengers to be the field goal and place kicker for us, and has really done an outstanding job. But we have a lot of confidence that if he has a big kick to win us a game, it's gonna go right through the uprights. And nice to have some experience and veteran presence there.
All right, time for us to take a timeout. When we come back on the other side, we're going to be joined by Lobo Athletic Director Fernando Lovo. We'll hear from Coach Eck at the finish to preview Michigan. Stay with us on the Lobo Coaches Show. We're back on your Lobo Coaches Show. It's my privilege now to welcome in the Athletic Director at the University of New Mexico, Fernando Lovo. Fern, it's great to be with you.
Thanks, Rob.
How are you, sir?
Appreciate you having me.
Oh, it's
awesome.
It's great to have you on set. What do you think, first of all?
I love it in here. It's nice and homey. We've got some retro Lobo gear. We're ready to go. It's football season. Let's get it going.
Yeah, we got a game. The Lobos are headed to Ann Arbor this weekend coming up. But I specifically wanted to talk with you first about some of these incredible things that Lobo Athletics here has been doing lately. And I know the first thing out of the gate, and you talked about this with your employees at a staff meeting this week actually, was how New Mexico is very much out front of the rollout as a result of the House settlement. Yeah,
that's right. Yeah, when I got here in December, we quickly looked at what is our plan going to be. We knew we were anticipating that this was going to get approved. It came to fruition on June 6th of this year when it got approved. And July 1st, we hit the ground running, but really all the legwork was done. And my team is so incredible. And I can confidently say that I think the Lobos are positioned for success. I think our plan is a solid one that we can implement now and into the future. And we were not caught off guard, and we hit the ground running July 1, and it's been smooth sailing ever since.
It definitely takes a village, though, right? And that includes the state legislature. And I know you've been up to Santa Fe.
Yeah. Someone told me if I want to get my PhD in politics, go up to Santa Fe. And so I dove headfirst right after I hired Jason and went up and spent some time there. And we've just, received so much support. People understand the importance of Lobo athletics to this great state and this community. And I think, you see that materializing itself in terms of the support we receive, but we got to keep going. Now's not the time to rest. We've got to continue to push. And I think we've got the support, and I'm excited to continue to have those conversations because they're critical right now.
Fern mentioned new head football coach Jason Eck, and you and the creative team have already turned him into a social media star with the way that he was able to do that Office skit with you so seamlessly.
Yeah, no, that was a wonderful experience. I mean, I'm a terrible actor. I got to give Jason all the credit. I think I brought the whole experience down. It took me quite a few tries to get it done, but our creative team, Chase and Casey and everyone else, has been so forward-thinking, and we're doing things different, right? Coach Eck has got a great personality. It's something we got to take advantage of and capitalize, and we have over 1 million impressions that we saw from that video, and I think it really set the tone for what's to come of the initiatives that we're looking to do and make Lobo football something that people can get excited about.
Fern just mentioned Casey Byers. You have such great youth and innovation in your young leadership with Jalen Dominguez and Ryan Berriman, and what a crew you've put together.
Well, I appreciate it. It takes a village. And one of the things I was so fortunate of when I got here, I had such great support. Eddie did a great job here building a championship culture. And so was able to leverage that. And you mentioned Casey and Ryan and some others that I was able to bring back home. Both of them were here at one point. And so I think, we're building a team and we're headed in the right direction. I'm excited to see where it takes us.
One of the other things you've done, and we've seen this here in the offices, is you've really filled out the staff in creative, in marketing, in ticketing, and that just gives you more power to execute the things you want.
Yeah, that's right. It takes manpower to get it done. It takes creativity, and it takes a willingness to not be afraid of failure. We've got to do things differently, and I encourage my staff all the time. Don't be fearful of failure. Let's try to do something different. Let's be talked about. Let's tell our story. And I feel that we're doing that. We've still got a long way to go, but I think you can see with some of the stuff that we've done, whether it's the kids-free video or the turquoise uniform reveal. I mean, we're really pushing the envelope, and I'm just so excited to see Lobo Athletics being talked about, and can't wait to continue to build on that momentum.
All right, time for us to take a break. We're going to come back on the other side and talk about some of the really cool new initiatives being executed inside University Stadium for the 2025 football season. Welcome back into your Lobo Coaches Show with the athletic director at the University of New Mexico, Fernando Lovo. Fernando, so many great things happening inside University Stadium this year, new initiatives, and it starts with the kids, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does. Absolutely right. I think we have an obligation to develop the next generation of Lobo fans. And one of the things I looked at when I got here is I saw that anytime we did some sort of kids initiative in the spring, we really saw an uptick in attendance. And so I asked my team, why can't we do this for football? And as good as they are, they came back to me with some ideas, and we worked those out, and we got them in place, and excited to roll that out. I do think that that's going to make it more accessible to a new group of fans that maybe hasn't come to University Stadium before. I want people to wake up on a Friday or Saturday and think, hey, let's bring the family to a football game. And so hopeful that that'll do that, and it's been very well received thus far.
So kids 12 and under will get in free to Lobo football games, and concessions are going to be really affordably priced this season too, aren't they?
Right. And to continue to build on the family-friendly and fan-friendly forward-facing initiatives, it's one thing, okay, we got ticket prices, but now when you get into the stadium, you just can't pay $12 for a bottle of water, right? We've got to make it accessible, affordable, and I think I say it all the time, we've got to eliminate barriers to entry. And to me, doing these things is going to help and hopefully unlock a new set of Lobo fans. And that's really what we need. We need butts in the seats at University Stadium, and we'll leave no stone unturned to make sure that we get that done.
So $4 sodas, $4 waters, $4 hot dogs, $4 popcorn. Now, you've moved the student section and the band to try to create atmosphere?
Yeah, we did. And, I met with the students when I first got here. And, to me, it's the students in the band that really are the catalyst to a great in-game experience, right? And so the first thing I heard was, hey, we want to move back to where we were. Granted, I was only here for 2 months, so I wasn't quite sure where that was, but I said, sounds good, you got a deal. So we moved them. And I think, again, our students are appreciating it. Our band understands that we want them to be the focal point, and we want them on that visiting sideline, giving us a competitive advantage against our visitors. And so they'll be back in the area where they once were, and I'm excited to see them impact the games this year.
Fans love the Lobo mascots. Tell us about Louis Lane.
Yeah, so Louis Lane, a little homage or a rip-off and duplicate, as I say, for what we did at Texas. We started Bevo Boulevard when I was there, and I saw that we were able to create an event outside of our football game. And so I talked about people wanting to come to games. Well, they have to first want to come to the stadium. And so we created a unique tailgate area with happy hour pricing, with a DJ, with other elements that, again, just are going to draw people to University Stadium, get them excited about Lobo football. And then once we're there, we got to get them into the stadium to cheer for the Lobos.
About a half minute left with Fernando Lovo, the AD at the University of New Mexico. And, the in-game experience, so much of it surrounds that video board, and University Stadium got an upgrade, didn't it?
It did, yeah. It was long overdue. That board was over 10 years old, and you'll see the vibrancy of the board, and it'll allow us to do some really cool in-game things that we haven't been able to do. And it's just the beginning. That's what I want to leave Lobo Nation with. We've got big plans for University Stadium. We're excited to roll those out, and that's just phase one of some upcoming initiatives to make University Stadium one of the best venues in the Mountain West.
Fern, thanks so much for being with us.
Thank you. I appreciate it. Go Lobos.
On the other side, Coach Eck returns to preview Michigan. The Lobo Coaches Show is presented by Green Summit Landscape Management. We're back on the Lobo Coaches Show. Lobo head football coach Jason Eck is with us. And Coach Fernando Lovo, your athletic director, talked about the social media presence that the Lobos have and the buzz that that's created. And you kind of made your acting debut as they carried out a skit from The Office?
Yeah, it was a fun thing. I think, Fernando has been very big about us trying to tell our story and get our presence out there. And Casey Byers has done a great job, and Chase did a great job kind of with the creative content. They just wrote all the lines. I just had to say them, but they did a great job putting that together. And what a great initiative to get kids 12 and under in free-to-air games. I think that'll hopefully be a boost towards our attendance this year. Huge
boost for sure. Chase Christensen and Casey Byers absolutely knocked that out of the park. Now, let's turn our attention to your opponent coming up, the number 14 team in the country. The Lobos are going to the Big House and playing in Ann Arbor. It's a night game. We know the atmosphere is going to be crazy. First off, how have you prepared the guys for that element?
Well, we'll be using a lot of crowd noise to get used to that anytime you play in the biggest stadium in college football. We also practice at night during camps, so we got used to being under the lights as well. Can't quite practice being on NBC. I mean, it's pretty awesome to get a chance to be on one of the three main networks that go back. So great exposure for our team, and what a fun environment. And I think when you're dreaming as a kid of playing college football or dreaming of coaching, you dream of a ranked team and a national TV game, and it'll be a thrill for our players, and we're excited to go give it our best shot.
Well, the number one recruit in all the land for the 2025 recruiting class, the quarterback, a true freshman for Michigan, is Bryce Underwood. And Coach, it does look like he's going to start. We know he's a tremendous athlete. What do you know about him?
Great player. And we expected him. They just announced on Monday that he was going to start, but we kind of expected all along that he was going to be the guy, just with the investment they made in him. He's a winner. Led his high school to 2 straight state championships. I believe only lost 1 or 2 games in college. He's very big. He's very athletic. He's got a strong arm. We're going to have to do a great job of keeping him in the pocket, and do a great job covering downfield, and hopefully get some pressure on him.
Well, they also have some guys who can get pressure on the quarterback themselves. A couple of edges in Moore and Guy who are really good, aren't they?
Yes, their defensive ends are outstanding. They lost some interior defenders to the NFL, but their D-line is outstanding. I do think this will probably be the best defensive line we face all year. Very, very good edge rushers. We got to do a good job of getting the ball out of the quarterback's hands quick so they can't be too much of a factor in the game.
Lobos anticipate that they'll have a strength of their defense be the linebacking crew. A couple of backers in Barham and Hausman for Michigan who are outstanding as well, aren't they?
They're outstanding. I think they're both, first team all-conference type guys. I expect both those guys to play in the NFL. They're rangy. They cover sideline to sideline. They're physical. Just watching their last 2 games, you flip in the game against Alabama in their bowl game or Ohio State, really, really high-level football. You feel like you're watching a game that could be an NFL game with all the great players running around, and really their defense controlled both of those games up front, really stopping the run and putting a lot of pressure, collapsing the pockets on the quarterback. So it's going to be a great challenge there for our offense and our offensive line. Well,
we know that they're extremely physical always on both sides of the ball. Michigan loves to run the football and come right at you. That's going to be a tall order, isn't it?
Yeah, I think the thing that we're going to really look for our team is I want to make sure we're controlling what we can control. There may be some times where we might lose a one-on-one battle, but we got to be in the right gaps on defense. We got to line right to their formations they put out. We got to be blocking the right guys on offense, because if you have unforced mental errors, those are things that there's no carryover throughout the year. That's the same stuff that can get you beat the next week when you play an FCS team. So we got to really play good, sound football, make sure the Lobos aren't beating the Lobos, try to withstand the storm with some of their great players, and see if we can't hang around and make it a game in the fourth quarter.
Coach, we're looking forward to it. Your first Coaches Show is in the books. Best of luck in Ann Arbor.
Thanks so much, Rob. Appreciate it.
For Lobo head coach Jason Eck, Frank Mercogliano, and Chase Christensen, I'm Robert Portnoy. Till next time, so long, and go Lobos.